Hello everybody! Today I'm going to be doing a tutorial on how to animate using Linux. First off, we are going to need Boats Animator. This is a great stop motion program. I'm going to do a new project. You'll notice first off, I have a Logitech C615 installed here. I take that back, it's not installed, it was a plug and play. But as a word of caution, Boats Animator, I do not know exactly what the criteria are, but it does not apparently use all webcams. I have a Logitech QuickCam 9000 that it did not want to acknowledge. Excuse me, no, it would acknowledge it, it just would not allow me to adjust the color settings. I also have a QuickCam 4000, which the program just flat would not acknowledge at all. But then I have a Vimcro plug-and-play camera, which is so dated, but for some reason it was able to run that. I would be careful. Don't give up too quickly. You might just need to switch out to some different cameras. I would personally recommend that you just go and get a C615. I personally love it. It's a really compact camera. It can fold so you can keep it protected from dust and stuff like that. And of all the cameras that I've used, it has the best, not just image quality, but resolution. And another huge bonus is that if you want to do shots where the camera has to be like close in on the action, it's a small enough camera that of the different webcams that I have used so far, it is the easiest one to be able to fit into sets that are more compact without bumping into objects and props and stuff like that. So I would just go and get one of these personally. Anyways, we've got our program set up. One of the things that you'll notice about this program is that unlike other stop motion softwares, I've mainly just used Stop Motion Animator, the free program. Unlike that program and perhaps others, you don't just immediately save video files as soon as you are done. You have to actually select a destination folder, so in this case I already have one set up. And what it's going to do is it is going to capture every individual frame and it is going to dump them in that directory folder. But you can't export as video after you have taken all of your frames, so you can have both video and image sequence, which as we go on we will see how image sequence is actually a benefit, even though it can take up a little bit of space. Now, looking at this set here, there's a few things that I need to adjust. One of them, before we get into character placement, I want to just bring up this program, QTV4L2, that's a mouthful, test utility. This is something that you'll want to also make sure that you have installed. This is going to show you the controls for your camera, which that was the situation that I ran into with the one camera, is that the controls that were being displayed here are not all of the controls the camera could actually do, one of which was adjusting the exposure, which you always want to have on manual. It would not allow me to make that adjustment, so every movement that the characters would make, it would mess with the lighting and all kinds of awful looking stuff. For our purposes right now, we're just going to set them as we need them for this shot, which is a standalone shot, which makes things so much easier because we don't have to worry about consistency. Anyways, this looks kind of bright. Let me see here. Gotta make sure that we have it on manual mode. Whoa, too dark. Looks okay. Zoom, you want to have zoom off. Something that I actually learned from somebody who was not even an animator. I was actually just on a touristy trip and somebody behind me mentioned that you want to, whenever you're taking photographs, you want to make sure to have, you want to not zoom the photo in the camera. You want to zoom it afterwards when you are photo editing, because then you don't lose your pixels. And I tested that out with stop motion with this, and let me just give a demonstration here. That is what your image quality will look like if you use the zoom features. But if you don't use zoom, it will basically look like this, only you'll be able to see the select areas that you want to have zoomed in on. So if you're going to do anything like, for example, a character aiming down a scope, do not, I repeat, do not use the zoom features of your camera. You will lose a lot of image quality that you could have had otherwise if you had just zoomed in later on the video editor. Focus automatic, that is what is causing all of that blur, because I don't believe he was blurred just a moment ago. Let me go back now. We've got everything set to manual. Aha, here we are. Focus. This ring. Before I go any further, I need to position him on the scene. I made a mistake there. I had things set up and then I had to make a change and I never checked it beforehand. But this is the perfect opportunity to show you a couple other features. So grid, if you want to do more complicated types of shots and stuff like that, like, what do they call it? A rule of thirds. I don't remember exactly what rule of thirds is, but part of doing that photo technique does involve using the grid, because I don't remember, it was like you want to use some number 3 squares in your scene. Whatever it was, I'm sure there'll be somebody here who knows what I'm talking about. But anyways, having now just established my ignorance, let's just continue. We don't want him to be directly in the center of that shot. That was part of the rule of thirds. Oh yes, that was the rule of thirds, is we wanted to have 1/3 over here, foreground, center, and then background. That was our rule of thirds, and I do believe it was also said in the rule of thirds that you don't want stuff smack dab in the middle there. You want to try to keep things off to one side or the other, but not too far off to the side, like over, in this corner. I mean, I just put that shrub there for extra detailing, but you wouldn't want your protagonist all the way over there. I feel like that is a decent demonstration of the rule of thirds right there. It's a more interesting looking shot because it has more depth. That's kind of what the idea behind rule of thirds is, as far as it was articulated to me. I'm going to go ahead and turn that grid off. Aspect ratio. I don't know entirely what people use that for, but it's a great tool if you are planning to film something that you want to put on a widescreen DVD. I don't know anybody who makes their brick films widescreen, but if you're like me and you like to save videos to DVD later to watch on your television, if you liked widescreen, there you go. That would be a great frame of reference for that. Alright, it looks like everything is set up decently. Ah yes, focus, because he wasn't quite in focus as much as we wanted. This is the one disadvantage of some of these more modern cameras, is you don't have the focus ring. The focus ring enables you to get it just precisely the way that you want it, but on some of these newer things, it's like, okay, we could focus in a little bit more, but we lose a little bit of sharpness kind of on the edges here. But if I go the next notch down, still lacking a little bit. But if I keep going further down, now he's just out of focus altogether. So there's a little bit of sacrifice to be made there, but again though, I think overall the sacrifice is worth it for the what's the word that I'm looking for here? The maneuverability of the camera. It's just so much easier when you have something small as opposed to something that takes up about 1/4 of your set space, trying to navigate that. How are we doing? It looks like everything is where we want it to be. Ah yes, the one other thing, number 1, frames per second. So we're going to be doing 15. But you can adjust that. You can just keep going. I don't know anybody who wants to do 1 frame per second. We're going to go back to 15. And then this little slider here, as we go, we can use this for onion skinning. For those of you who are not already familiar with onion skinning, it is essentially, as you are animating, when I take the next shot, the first movement that he's going to make, if I want to be more meticulous and make sure that that movement is going to be smooth, what I will do is I will onion skin, and what that means is that it will show us a transparent image of the first frame that we took. Then you can better tell exactly how much of a movement you have made from one picture to the next. If you were one to use, say, the ease in, ease out technique of making smaller and then gradually bigger and then smaller motions as you go, this is the tool that you would want to use. It's not labeled super clearly, but something that is great about this one is that because of that slider, you can adjust exactly how... what's the word I'm looking for? You can adjust the opacity of the image that you are using as your frame of reference, your last frame. You can change the opacity of the last frame. It looks like everything that we want set up is set up now. Without any further ado, let's go ahead and get started. Oh, I think... did I already just... I did, I just bumped the camera. Well, here's our onion skinning demonstration right there. This is another reason why you want to use onion skinning, because if you accidentally bump the camera, you actually know where you need to put it back, so that you can maintain consistency and not have your camera going all over the place. So you'll notice I just did a slightly more subtle movement there. The reason for that is so that the motion will look a lot more fluent as opposed to very abrupt stopping and starting of each motion. Is the camera moving again? I think it is. This is not a problem with the camera. It will happen no matter what camera you are using. I just really blew it in not finding a way to stick the camera in place before I started. And then I'm going to put some muzzle flare on that gun so that we can have it fire off. That's actually sticky tack that's in between the fire piece and the pistol, but it gives it kind of a nice gun smoke sort of effect. There is our animated clip. I'm going to go ahead and shut all of the lights off. We're going to export the video. You can output the video into the same file as your frames. However, I would recommend against that. It's easier to keep track of. The default title is going to be output. I'm just going to go ahead and go with that. There's not really any need to change it. Now we are going to export it. Let's make it quality preset So MP4, that's a really good file type because it's smaller than an AVI but still looks good. So we're going to go ahead and we're going to export it as an MP4. Okay. But even having exported the video, you've still got all that image sequence to go. We are done using Boat's animator. And we are also done with the V4L testbench utility. Oh, that's that was what I did wrong. I forgot to turn off one of the automatic features. That's probably at least part of why we were getting some kind of weird looking feedback or whatever that was in the video. But anyways, we are done with that. We now go to our editor, Kdenlive. You'll want to get Kdenlive. This program is great. We are going to be looking for now our, whoops, why are we on our downloads folder? We don't need the downloads folder, we need Boat's animator. There we go. Don't know why it was in there. Our next animation on Linux live tutorial output, there's our video. We've got it in here. It's pretty much like just about any other video editor where you'll have your video tracks and then you'll have your audio tracks down here. Unlike some video editors though, at least as far as freeware goes, you do have the option to insert new video or audio tracks. I have not seen a limit so far, which is really, really handy sometimes. We've got our video. Now we want to put in some sound effects. Now, my sound effects is here. Okay, either it is... no? Aha, here we go. I apparently had two folders for the same tutorial, so we're just going to select all those because those were already pre-selected for this project because you didn't want me to just sit here scanning my computer trying to find that one perfect sound effect when we could have all just had it ready in the first place. Didn't feel like wasting your time or mine. First sound effect we want here is... why do I have breaking a wooden door in there? I don't need that one. Okay. Unholster. There we go. We're going to drag our unholster sound there. Oops, that's a little bit too early. Oh, there we go. That's where we want it. Perfect. We're just going to save this. Just in case something happens and the program crashes, which I don't think is likely to happen, but I'd rather not take any chances because I have a brown thumb at computers. Next sound effects. That's a little bit too long for what we got, so I'm going to shorten that. That seems about right. I'll put a fade out just to make the sound a little bit better. And now we want Magnum. Remington, here we go. How's our gunshot looking? Perfect. Now let's just add in an audio track so that we can put some music in while we're at it. I want to cut it up just a little bit to remove some of the unnecessary silence. Beautiful. Let's go ahead and let's make a title. How about if we, just for the fun of it, make this effect look a little bit cooler? In light of the music that's playing there, I feel like we could just afford to complement the music a little bit. So we're going to add a keyframe. The first keyframe is going to be 100%, so I want to make it 150 by the time we reach keyframe number 2. We'll have another keyframe here, and we will have it be at, say, 180. And just to make it look a little bit nicer, we'll do a fade out. Let's move that up just a few frames. How does that look? You know what? I can make that even better. There we go. That's the effect I was looking for. Now we will just go ahead and we will... Hold on a second. There's one other thing that I would like to show you. I want to show you what the reason is why it is good to have your frames as an image sequence. This is really helpful if you want to have just one frame edited here. Let's hunt that one down. There we go, that's the one that I wanted. Frame 26, that's the number that we want to be looking for. That's a lot easier of a frame of reference. We're looking for frame 26, there we are. I'm going to make a few adjustments to this frame, just in case we want a little bit more of a cinematic look. Light and shadow. Lens flare. There we go. I'm going to make a new video track. And we are going to have our other version. So now, this is the thing that's really nice. You can just click that box, import image sequence, click the first one in the sequence, and boom, you have the animation right there. I will need to change the speed of that. I'm not entirely sure why it was going at that fast rate of speed. I felt like there was a way that you can change how fast that will show up, but I'm not entirely sure what it is. Let's just go ahead. Whoops. Oh, that is the one issue that comes up with image sequences as opposed to MP4s is you don't have the ability to change the speed quickly like you do with an MP4 file. So that is one unfortunate detail. What am I able to... Ah, yes, I remember what I need to do. This is a problem that I had to work around early on. So what we need to do in order to make this clip usable is we will need to save it as an MP4, and then we will be able to adjust it. I'm in the wrong file again. image sequence with flare. I don't know why it's taking that long to save it. That's interesting. So we'll just bring everything back and we will find that image sequence. There we go. Oh, right. It will not let us just put it there because it's... Oh, it saved with all of the sound too. That was weird. I don't know. There wasn't any sound left on the project as far as I was aware, so I don't know why it did that. Oh no. It saved a whole bunch of black. What happened? Now I can change the speed of that because it's an MP4. I think it automatically set it at like 30 frames per second, so I'm gonna go ahead and just say cut it down by 50. Let's see how that works. Perfect. I'll just shorten that a little bit there. Let's make sure that our music matches. And let's also okay, it's on that frame, so let's just go ahead and let's try to make the fade out for the music synchronize with the fade out for the text. And you know what? Just to make this look a little bit nicer, I'm going to add some effects. There we go. I think let's call it good with that. Maybe it's a little bit bright, but hey, not a big deal, ultimately. We're going to change that output file title. We're going to just say animation tutorial final result. Let's go locate it in the file. There we are.